everybody. Welcome. Suzette Speaks live on your radio here in Miami, Florida. Glad you're tuning in. Gonna have an interesting show talking a little bit of alligator Alcatraz. Happy Friday. Hope you're good, all right? I'm gonna try to get all my stuff recorded, ready to go live in five, four, three, two, one.
24 hours of the best Caribbean music. You're listening to WCPP, the new 96.1 FM.
Yo, it's Shaggy! It's Voice of Caribbean. 102.1 Shaggy on your dial. Look at it while. I mean, know that shit, yeah?
Yeah, me I send them on a Ragging King. I represent the man for the voice of the Caribbean, and the man. And the wickedness and the body's radio station.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome. This is the Suzette Speaks Show live. How are we doing? Happy Fire Friday. Yes, this is a beautiful day here in Miami. It is hot though. Listen, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, West Palm, how are we doing? It's hot today. If you didn't know, the heat index is over 100. I think it's 105 in Miami, 101 in Fort Lauderdale. What does that mean? Not the temperature. How hot does it feel? Yes, we have dry Saharan dust. Did you know that from all the way over in Africa, the Saharan desert, the Saharan desert, the dry sand, what they call Saharan dust when it reaches the atmosphere, is hanging over us and will be over us all weekend. I didn't know that because I'm a person that loves to exercise outside. I'm a person that likes to walk and go for my little walks in the evening. But I realized it's going to be very hazy because we have a dry Saharan dust mass floating in the atmosphere over us in South Florida. What does that mean? Well, the air quality is compromised, of course. If you do have allergies or compromised pulmonary issues with your lungs, you have to be careful going outside. But the other thing you have to remember, which is a benefit, is that because of the Saharan dust, we will have some magnificent sunsets. Mind you, I was out last night. My cousin is in town from New York, and we went for a drive. I want to catch up with him. We went for our coffee, went to the Starbucks, whatever. And as we were driving, it was in the evening, and it was so beautiful. The sun was setting as we look, because you know that the days are much longer now. The sun was beautiful. Put on a show for us. So if you haven't had a chance, I know you're not supposed to stay outside for long periods of time due to the Saharan dust, but you should get outside, man. It's so beautiful. The colors of the sky, it was painted like glorious colors, like just remembering the awe of nature, the awe of God Almighty. And if you do get a chance over the weekend, because the Saharan dust will be with us through the weekend, and then when the dust get out the way, we get back to some rain. So we're going to have a little bit of a dry spell. Again, stay hydrated, stay inside. Again, if you have respiratory issues, but you have to just kind of watch it. And then in the evening, you can take a peek at the sunsets and the sunrises, because they're going to be even more magnificent because of the Saharan dust. Anyway, welcome one and all. If you are new here, what's up? What's up? I forgot to tell my Bahamian Massive Happy Independence Day yesterday, so please forgive me. All of those listeners, the Caribbean American community celebrates, our history and our heritage. And yesterday, the Bahamas celebrated their Independence Day. Yes, I saw a lot of flags on my timeline. Those who were celebrating, going to nice festivities, fish fries, parties. I saw a lot of culture on my timeline. Even some people look like they were flying back to the Bahamas to celebrate in person. So big up the Bahamas and everybody who celebrated with our Bahamian Massive. And we are, always looking to, celebrate the various diaspora islands and the independence and the history that we all share. And I also wanted to point out a couple of wonderful events. First of all, shout out to everybody who was celebrating July 4th last week. It was amazing. If you weren't there, I was hosting in the city of Miramar. I had the distinct pleasure of hosting their grand July 4th Family Day. And let me tell you, over 13,000 people were there, and I was rocking the mic, rocking the stage. I couldn't believe it. One of the largest crowds I've had the pleasure of hosting and emceeing. We did dance competitions. We did hula hoop competitions. We had performances by local artists, and it was just a beautiful expression of unity with even everything that's going on right now in this country. It was a moment where we put all of that aside and remembered we are one human race, one humanity. I won't get on my soapbox. I'll get off right now. But I want to big up the city of Miramar for having me And I didn't even really introduce myself. Welcome. If this is your first time listening, I'm Suzette Speaks. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm an attorney by training. I also am a social critic, a political commentator. I've been on platforms like the Roland Martin Show. Of course, I have a running show here on Voice of the Caribbean. Now you can catch me every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I try and make it a little bit more sharp. Yes, Mikey. We have life, I go on, but we are here because we're committed to the community. We love bringing you news. We love bringing you information that you can use. There's so many news stories nowadays, and it's so hard to digest them. When we come on here, I try to pick 2 or 3 topics that really had an impact on me. And I figure if I'm interested in them, you'd be interested in them. So that's how I kind of approach the show. This is also a community forum. So if you have a business, if you have an event, if you want to, promote a nonprofit organization, I do interviews as well. So if you're a part of our community and you're looking to reach far beyond, where your social media followers end, we're here for you. So we want to be your resource in the community for good news, information, of course, and staying on top of what's going on. I want to shout out all of my co-hosts, my colleagues here, from Miss Opal Lee, fellow lady lawyer. She has a fantastic show on the weekend. Miss Chin, Mikey Mike, of course, the big man doing the morning drive, making sure you stay on top of all the news from both the Caribbean basin and across the United States, right? We take you from South Florida to up North Florida, even Orlando. We have listeners all over. Thank you. We have listeners as far as Europe and places in Africa, because guess what? Voice of the Caribbean is not just here in South Florida. We are an app, so you can always go to the App Store, download the app, and listen to us and take us wherever you go. So 92.7, what's up, Fort Lauderdale? 96.1, what's up, Hollywood, North Miami? Wagwan, Miami, 94.3 FM. You know how we do. So if you want to chime in on any of the topics I have for today, you can always call me. We haven't done that in a while, but I know there's so much information. Sometimes my listeners will tell me, Sue, no, we're just listening to you, darling. Yesterday, I tried to do a little deep dive about the exchange between Donald Trump and the president of Liberia. Mr. President Trump had, made a few comments about how great the English was of the Liberian president. And I went over a little bit of history, the connected, very shared communal history between Liberia, which was a country in West Africa founded by freed African Americans, enslaved former African Americans who are looking for freedom and looking to form their own free republic. Actually, the first free republic in the continent of Africa in modern Western history was Liberia. So their English sounds American because their roots are from African Americans at the time enslaved in the system of transatlantic slavery. But yeah, so the comments were, thank you guys for the feedback. I see you guys watching on my YouTube, and those who chimed in on my YouTube yesterday, let me know how you felt about that topic. But I want to get into more about alligator Alcatraz, because we know that we have a large community here in Voice of the Caribbean. Most of us know people who are undocumented, people who do not have their legal papers to be here in the United States. Maybe they overstayed their visa, they were once, maybe traveling, a student, permanent resident, however it goes. We've been seeing a lot of what's happening in our country when it comes to immigration. So I wanted to talk about this detention center that went up less than a week, maybe two, not even two, less than a week. Listen, when they want to do something, they really want to do something. Oh, hey, online, I see you. Jim Rockford is saying, I don't know if this is true. He's saying there's free Slurpees at 7-Eleven today. I did not know. Somebody confirmed that for me. Free Slurpees at 7-Eleven. I am not saying that they must do it. I'm saying that one of my fantastic YouTube subscribers is telling me that as we are on the air. So I just read his comment. Y'all double check and make sure. But I would love to get a free Slurpee. I used to love Slurpees back in the day. That was like a treat for me. Shout out to Pastor Damon Blissett, also watching online. Everybody watching from around the world on the app, big up yourself. I appreciate you. And we always appreciate the love. Before I get into today's topic, which is the lawsuit that several Florida state representatives, people who serve in the Florida legislature, that's who we elect to serve in Tallahassee, in the state House of Representatives and in the state Senate, they have filed a lawsuit against Ron DeSantis and several others for not allowing them to go inside of the alligator Alcatraz. Hey, the name just bothers me. The alligator Alcatraz, that's what they're calling this Everglades, middle of the Everglades based detention center. Now, they were just this last week, it's been a week ago, on my show, last week, Thursday, we talked about it in depth. about how 5 state representatives, who also happen to be Democrats, by state law, they asserted that they are allowed to go to any state-run detention facility unannounced to inspect the prison or correctional center. Because remember, Alligator Alcatraz is being run by the state of Florida, not ICE. So they showed up in the middle of the Everglades on Octopi Road, and they were turned away because the officials there said it was unsafe. So many of them questioned, well, if it's unsafe for lawmakers, the people who make the laws on our behalf in Tallahassee, the state senators and the House of Representative members from the state of Florida that we elect to send to Tallahassee to make our laws, so we call them lawmakers, and they represent us in the legislature. They are called legislators, right? These legislators were turned away. Now, there was a lawsuit filed yesterday. I'm going to go over the lawsuit, but let me tell you what I want. It looked like the state officials seen the lawsuit. Now, I'll read a little bit about this lawsuit coming out of Tampa, because several of the state representatives are from Orlando and from South Florida as well. Now, this is according to the Tampa affiliate, let me get it right, News Channel 8 in Tampa. News Channel 8 is reporting, WFLA is their call letters. So out of Tampa, this is a story that was published today, July 11, and Democratic lawmakers have filed a lawsuit after being denied entry into Alligator Alcatraz last week. Now, according to the reports, on Wednesday, the state of Florida invited all Florida legislators to tour the new immigration detention center near the Everglades. However, the lawmakers said it was unlawful, like they have the right, according to the Florida statutes. That's the state code, the state laws. We call them the Florida statutes. According to the Florida statutes, they argue it was unlawful to turn them away from visiting the facility last week. So they're saying they should have been allowed in the first place. Just because you want to set up a tour, the tour is scheduled for tomorrow on Saturday. We're going to stay on top of this right here on Voice of the Caribbean. If you're just tuning in, Suzette Speaks on your radio live, talking trends and hot topics and news you can use. And we're going deep dive today into Alligator Alcatraz. This is the detention facility that's supposed to be housing thousands of undocumented persons, according to the president who visited last week, saying they were going to be violent criminals. But we're looking at who's been transferred to this facility, and it doesn't look like it's violent criminals. There have been actual people transferred from Orlando, the correctional facility in Orange County, that do not have any type of criminal charge except that they are undocumented. And several of them have been transferred from Orlando's correctional facilities down to Alligator Alcatraz. And we have a testimony from a Cuban reggaeton artist who's been talking online. I don't know how they got him a phone, but he's been recorded by his girlfriend or his significant other talking about how they are only allowed to bathe. They haven't been able to bathe since they got there. Actually, he said he got there last week Friday and he hasn't bathed. There's no running water. He hasn't been able to brush his teeth. There's no personal hygiene allowed to anybody in there. He's saying that according to this reggaeton artist, that they have 24-hour lights. Lights never get turned off. And unfortunately, so they are not in a sleep cycle. The human body requires light and dark, right? It's supposed to be on a circadian rhythm. You know how your body need the dark to go to sleep. They have 24/7 lights, according to the report. 24/7, the lights stay on. He also, this reggaeton artist, actually I can play it, but it's in Spanish. He's saying they only gave him one meal a day, and then the meals have worms in them. Now, I understand if you're here undocumented, there are consequences, but there's something called being treated with human rights and respect for civility, right? How are we treating people? Do people who are here undocumented, who just yesterday, they was working, they was going to work, because I don't see it being a lot of the violent criminals. It's a lot of the farm workers. It's a lot of construction workers, the everyday hardworking people that have been living here, some people for decades, that are being swept up. Now, the people that they're sending there, like I said, this is just a first-hand account from a reggaeton artist who was a recording. You can hear it on Instagram. And he's bawling out. He's saying, I can't bathe. I can't brush my teeth. There's no dark. Lights are on in this facility 24/7. He said he imagined that there's about 400 people there now in Alligator Alcatraz. We all know somebody, most of us in this community especially. We are a community, we are a country of immigrants. If you go back further enough, Donald Trump is an immigrant. Somebody help me here. From Germany, right? The grandfather, Trump, the first Trump was German, the grandfather. I came and worked in a bar. Y'all don't want to hear it. Everybody forget where they came from. Y'all don't want to hear it. But how are we treating today's stranger? All right, well, let me keep reading what the lawsuits say. Governor DeSantis, in an interview with Fox News, fired back on these lawmakers who have now filed a lawsuit saying that it was illegal for them to be turned away because, according to Florida state law, they are supposed to be able to be allowed in any correctional facility run by the state or county or municipal, that means city governments, and inspected at any given time. They don't have to make an appointment. They are legislators, people who are elected on behalf of the people of the state of Florida to make their laws. So what him said no. Governor DeSantis, let's hear his point of view. He said, what we're not going to do is provide them with a platform to virtue signal and have some politicized photo op. What? Let me keep reading. State representative. This is a African-American woman out of Tampa named Michelle Rayner from Pinellas County, is among the legislators who were turned away from the center last week. Shortly after, she explained, quote, we were not allowed in. We were told there were safety concerns. When pressed on those safety concerns, we were ultimately hung up on by the General Counsel for the Florida Department of Emergency Management. This is who's supposed to be one of the administrators of the Alligator Alcatraz. DeSantis said the facility will be reimbursed by federal funding. They say Florida taxpayers are paying for it, but he says it's going to be reimbursed by the feds, by the federal government. But these lawmakers went ahead and filed a lawsuit. And according to the lawsuit, this is according to WFLA out of Tampa, Lose 8. According to the lawsuit, the center was funded by $450 million in Florida state taxpayer dollars. And it's not reimbursable by the federal government. That's what they are saying. The people who are filing the lawsuit, the Democratic representatives from across the state of Florida who've come together saying you shouldn't have blocked us from going inside Alligator Alcatraz. That is our right by the Florida statute. And what you're talking about, the money that it costs, $450 million a year, that's not going to be reimbursed. They're arguing that it's not going to be reimbursed by Washington, D.C. It's not going to be reimbursed by the federal government. The suit claims, per Florida statutes, legislators are entitled to conduct unannounced visits to Alligator Alcatraz or any other state or local detention center. That's what the law says. Michelle Rayner, the state rep again from Pinellas County, said, adding on, there is statutory authority for us to be able to pop up at a detention center. Not only them, detention centers, municipal jails, and prisons unannounced and able to inspect them. The governor's office sent News Channel 8 the following statement, and I'll read it. Statement reads from the state of Florida. Yesterday, the Florida Division of Emergency Management invited all Florida legislators to tour Alligator Alcatraz this weekend. That's Saturday. That's tomorrow. This is what they're doing instead. Today, 5 Democrat legislators responded by filing a frivolous lawsuit demanding access to Alligator Alcatraz. The state is looking forward to quickly dispensing with this dumb lawsuit. That was a statement by the governor's office, by the state of Florida. The governor's office sent that. According to lawmakers, they will attend this weekend's visit, which is supposed to be 90 minutes. I believe it's tomorrow afternoon, Saturday. We're going to stay on top of it right here on Voice of the Caribbean. We got to let you know. We got to let the people know what's going on. Because just because you're being detained doesn't mean you lose your human rights. You're still a human being. Not being able to bathe, not being able to brush your teeth, not being able to get dark atmosphere at night or lower lighting so that you can sleep. So basically you're sleep deprived because the lights are on 24/7. I believe there was the reggaeton artist that also said that the mosquitoes are the size of elephants. Mosquitos parecen elefante. That's what he said on the recording. Listen, should I play it? It's in Spanish. But we got a lot more news coming up after this break, y'all. We also have some big events. Y'all, it's almost time for the 63rd Independence celebration of Jamaican independence coming up August 3rd. I see Sizzla Kalonji will be in the building at the Lauderhill Performing Arts Center. Yeah, Sizzla Kalonji alongside Itana, Admiral Tibet, Lady G, Hal Anthony, backed by the Code Red Band. That's coming up. I see August 3rd also. I Am Legend featuring Kago. I love him. The Angel and Ziggy Rankin. That's going to be at Luxurious Hall. Listen, we're going to be in these streets. Today is a Fire Friday. I'm bringing you the fire news, but we're going to have the fire music later. Don't go anywhere. Much more Suzette Speaks Show right after this break.
Entertainment present I Am Legend. Live on stage. The one and only Chicago.
Okay, I gotta. I forget I'll get a copyright strike. I'll get a copyright strike. Yeah, I might get a copyright strike. I won't go hard. Hi, everybody. You can see that there. Okay. I'm just adjusting my second camera. How's everybody doing?
Cell phone at 954-995-3805.
I'm in the zone today, baby. I'm in the zone today.
If he can't answer, he will call you.
I was supposed to go on Facebook Live yesterday, and I didn't go over to Facebook. So I'm gonna go over to Facebook a little bit later. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you have some fun planned. I just got my pictures back from my July 4th weekend. So I'm going to be posting a lot of those on my socials. I hope everybody's good. This is a long commercial break. So I sometimes I want to pause the video, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose the video if I pause the video. The AC, every time halfway in my show, the AC goes up to like 80 and I'm like sweating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go adjust the AC. And remind me halfway in this, halfway in this. Y'all was here last week when I darn near spilled water on the board. That was crazy. That was pretty crazy. I don't know what's going on with me. Sometimes I go a little left. But yeah, this second camera, I'm gonna try to do a second version of my shows on YouTube. I should be just uploading these. I don't know what I'm not. But let me. Oh, this camera is in the scene. Don't pause it. Okay, I won't. Because sometimes I lose it if I do. Okay, that's as close as we're going to get. Because I can't. And then I'll look up at the camera. All right, cool. We're just going to rock with it. Let me go change the AC. I don't have any strange people in the studio today. Thank you, Lord. I'm not going to turn up this because I don't want you guys. I don't want to get copyright strike. I got about 3 minutes of commercials. It's like it's long, and then all of a sudden the second half of the commercials are faster. I want to talk about the tour. They sued for access, and they have I don't know if the sometimes the Miami Herald does not let you read its articles. Oh, it does. Okay, so I'll be able to do it. Anyway, hey, how's it going? Oh, Tori, how you doing? Good to see you, David Hunt, as well. Smooth approach. Wagwan, long time no see, my friends. How you doing? I'm here live on the radio. I'm just gonna adjust the AC for the studio. The studio is getting hot. Halfway through my show, every show, it goes up to like 80 degrees. I'm not sure why it does that. If you see me looking up this way, we have 16 cameras of the studio and all the different offices. So always I'm just looking up to, security. We in Miami. So, always looking up, see who's here with me, see who's not here with me. and who's leaving and who's going. You know, that's just a second nature. But I hope everybody's doing great. It's good to see you. I'm just gonna go adjust my AC back down, lower. This is too much. I'm trying to get a secondary camera, but the secondary camera like all in my lap. You gotta be all in my lap now. Come on now. You ain't gotta be all in my lap. I'll be right back. 2 seconds, just adjusting. It is hot. It is hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Why the AC always jump up high in here when I'm No, it's on auto. No, it's not you. It's on auto. It always get hot in the middle of my show. Okay, well, put it back down to 69. We gotta do what we gotta do. Anyway, any plans for the weekend? Me and my homegirl. Oh, I should be talking about this, but I don't be wanting to talk about myself like that. Me and my homegirls looking for single stuff to do in Miami. Yes, we still out here. So I sent her a bunch of events. Of course, she has not responded at all as to what we should be doing this weekend. So I have no plans as of yet. But there's a lot of actually like designated singles mixers. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't want to be outside. I've had a very busy in terms of hosting last couple weekends. July 4th was very busy for me. I hosted a couple of events and I hosted my family barbecue. Over 100 of my family members. I'm gonna start posting pictures on my social media of my barbecue. I would say my family's barbecue. Very proud of it. God is so good. God is so good. So I have to start posting some of those. Show y'all what we got going on over here. But yes, any fun ideas for the weekend? I'm drinking. This is chamomile mint. This is my leftover tea from yesterday. I probably should not be drinking chamomile in the middle of the day because I got 4 more hours of work. But hey, it smells good, the chamomile mint. We went hard. We went hard on the alligator Alcatraz. We got about 2 minutes left. Not even of commercials. Hey, big up yourself to everybody watching. Hit the like button. I'm getting a lot of texts from my people. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. I do not want this other camera to be in my lap so much. It's like so far down. Let me see. Is that too far up? Yeah, I don't want it too much in my lap. Sometimes I feel like it's in my lap. But I do move around. So it will see a little bit of my stomach anyway. But sometimes you don't want too much of the camera. I have a second camera, guys, that's recording the official studio. And what people can see online on our studio app, that's the camera I'm adjusting for. So I'm trying to adjust for it. I'm not supposed to be touching these, but it's in the camera shot. Oh well, we'll just do the best we can. And that's the best lighting, actually. Hey, everybody watching on the app. Hey. Hey, guys. That's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna do. I'm gonna do my best because I'm gonna end up moving it, and not getting the actual. Because this end up right in the middle. That doesn't go left and right. That just stays in the middle. No, it doesn't move left and right. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good weekend, or good Friday, excuse me. Good Friday. And I'll try to keep that like that if I can. Oh, maybe I do need it down a little bit because it'll give me a little bit of space on the camera. All right, I'm not adjusting this no more. I'm tired. 1 minute on commercials, guys.
On 946.
1 minute on commercials. I gotta highlight these things one more time. The big shows that are coming up. Wagwan. Yes, I'm so happy to see Tori's brain. I didn't see you in a long time. I have to come over your channel and visit you. I visited Mr. David Hunt the other day. I was happy to see you doing your thing still. I'm thinking about, like I said, going back to live, but my schedule is so hectic right now. I do not know when I'm going to be. I was doing that consistently Saturday at 12 noon. I'm trying to see if that can go back to me being when I do like a consistent live that's not on the radio, where I'm just talking about whatever I want to talk about. I don't know. Sometimes even when I see breaking news, I just want to go live sometimes. But yeah, I want to get back on the schedule as soon as possible. Or y'all might see me just uploading some old shows, clip by clip, and creating some repurposed content that way. Hope that's all right with y'all. But I'm thinking about doing it that way because it's a lot. All right, we got a minute down, minute to go. And halfway through this, I'm supposed to go on Facebook Live. Here we go. Here we go.
Foundation from birth. Yeah, man, a low culture. Say, we're representing for the vice of the Caribbean, Jamaica, and far beyond.
24 hours of the best Caribbean music. You're listening to WCPP,
The new 96.1
FM.
Yo, it's Shaggy. It's Voice of Caribbean. 102.1 Shaggy on your dial. We can well. I'm going to do that shit, yeah.
Yes, Wagwan, my family. It is Suzette Speaks live on your radio. Happy Fire Friday, or it's a fantastic Friday. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. It is hot. Let me say hot, hot outside. Please be careful. Drink your water. Stay indoors if you can. Two things going on. I started with it at the top of the show to let you know there is Saharan dust. Yes, dust from all the way from the Sahara Desert. It floats across the Atlantic all the way to us in Florida here, and it sits over our atmosphere. It's creating haze, it's creating heat, and it's not allowing for a lot of rain and precipitation. So this weekend it looks like it'll be particularly dry and hot. The heat index right now in Miami is over 100 degrees. Fort Lauderdale, you right up there too. And yesterday it was feeling like 105, 102. You know, that's not the temperature. That's how hot it feels when you're outside. So please do be careful. Make sure you stay hydrated. Cover your skin. I use my sunblock every single day, baby, because we out here, yes, we melanated, but we also have to protect ourselves from the sun. Of course, if you do have respiratory issues, just take a little bit of caution. You guys know that, you know, Saharan dust, or maybe you don't. Saharan dust is a part of the natural pattern for our weather this time of year. So right after this weekend, they say it'll clear up, and that'll allow some time for some rain and then more dust. Did you know this? It's coming our way. So thinking about the Saharan dust, you guys be careful. Like I said, I like to walk outside. I like to run outside and things like this, but I try to do it less when I know it's a lot of, you know, Saharan dust in the atmosphere, basically sand that has been kicked up into the atmosphere. So it's cool to watch on weather maps. You can look that up, Saharan dust, and we will see high levels of it this weekend, throughout the weekend here in South Florida. We were talking before we went to break about the alligator Alcatraz lawsuit that has just been filed by several Democratic Florida lawmakers who were denied entry into the alligator Alcatraz, what is being called detention facility for undocumented peoples that is on the edge of the Everglades, some would say in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of swampland, for real, that is now hosting detainees, people who have been caught up in the system for not having proper paperwork, right? They are not legally, according to officials, so-called documented. So they're being held there with an eye to be deported. So there have been a lot of complaints and a lot of stories about how the facility not only has inhumane conditions, but its environmental impact has been an ongoing debate. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this lawsuit that has been filed against Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida and the officials who are running Alligator Alcatraz, as well as we're going to be talking about the tour. Now, they're going to say it wasn't in response to the lawsuit. The state of Florida officials, now we got to play a little, even Steven. One side, the Florida state lawmakers who are suing to correct what they thought was an injustice. According to state law, they're arguing that any elected legislator, any elected representative of the people of Florida has the right by statute to visit any criminal detention center, municipal detention center, anything run by the state, and be able to visit unannounced and inspect it. Now, as I said on my show, Suzette Speaks show, welcome. If you're brand new here, welcome. When we talked about it last week, we talked about them being turned away from the gate. I played you some audio when they went out there last week, Thursday, trying to gain entrance and see what was happening inside the facility. Again, a lot of complaints have been made. I was telling you there's a reggaeton artist who's in there right now, who has been letting out voice notes in Spanish. And the translation is like, there is no water. We get one meal a day. The food has worms and bugs and maggots in it. Where there's 24/7 lighting. We can't sleep. There is not running water. We can't bathe. We can't brush our teeth. And these are the conditions that have been described that has been quite disturbing, right? Not to mention the environmental impact of being in the middle of the Everglades, where there was a lot of restoration happening. right? Remember, the river of grass is what the Everglades was called by our Native American brothers and sisters. It is a beautiful ecosystem that runs naturally from Lake Okeechobee in the middle of the state. That water flows south all the way through to the Keys. And it's what provides us with clean drinking water that percolates, right, sinks through the soil, through the limestone rock, into the Florida aquifer. The aquifer is like a big underground freshwater lake that provides all of us here in South Florida and even beyond fresh water. So having this detention facility in the middle of the Everglades has become quite worrisome. And with that regard, there has been a lawsuit now filed by several Democratic lawmakers. And as I was pointing out before the break, Michelle Rayner, who is a state representative from Pinellas County, she has been speaking up on behalf of the group who has filed this lawsuit. But they are very clear why they're doing it, because they're saying they were turned away from the gates of Alligator Alcatraz last week illegally, unlawfully, and they should have been allowed access because it is a state-run facility. Now, the price tag for Alligator Alcatraz, anybody know? $450 million. According to Governor Ron DeSantis, this will be reimbursed by the federal government. But in the lawsuit, they are arguing, first of all, it was wrong for them not to be allowed in. And then second of all, this money that he's talking about, that $450 million right now coming out of the state taxpayers, Florida's taxpayer money, out of our pockets, that he's saying will be reimbursed by the feds. According to the lawsuit, the center, the Alligator Alcatraz Center, was funded by $450 million in state taxpayer dollars, and it's not reimbursable by the federal government. That's what they're arguing in the lawsuit. The suit claims that per Florida statutes, legislators are entitled to conduct unannounced visits to Alligator Alcatraz or any other state or local detention center. It is their right by law. All elected state legislators. According to State Representative Rayner, she said, quote, there is a statutory authority for us to be able to pop up at any detention center, municipal jail, and prison unannounced and be able to inspect them. That, in fact, is a part of their job. Remember, the governor's office now states in a memo that they sent out saying yesterday the Florida Division of Emergency Management invited all Florida state legislatures to take a tour. Now let's talk about the tour of Alligator Alcatraz this weekend. Today, 5 Democrat legislators responded by filing a frivolous lawsuit demanding access to Alligator Alcatraz. The state is looking forward to quickly dispensing with this dumb lawsuit. That is the statement, quote unquote, that came from the governor's office in response to the lawsuit. According to the lawmakers, however, they are still going to attend this tour. Now let's talk about this tour, what they have set up. But they're going to go to the tour where they've been, quote, invited. But according to law, they don't have to be invited. They can go anytime they want to, according to state law. They say they're going to go to the tour tomorrow. It's scheduled for tomorrow on Saturday in the afternoon. We're going to stay on top of the coverage. But they say they plan to return for an unannounced, there we go. They still plan to return to Alligator Alcatraz unannounced. That's the elected Democrat state senators. They still plan on going because they say that's their right. According to state laws, what we call the statutes, the Florida statutes, those are the body of laws. You'll call it like the Florida, it's not quite the Constitution, but it's the laws that are made by the legislature that have been added to the Florida Constitution. They tell the state representatives, the state legislators, that they can go to any prison, any state-run facility, any local municipal, meaning city-run facility, and unannounced go inside and inspect any detention center, prison. They have the right to do that. So the lawsuit is very interesting. I've been reading it, and it's making headlines. The other part of the story is, and this is now coming from the Miami Herald. The other part of the story is, as they're reporting, Florida lawmakers and members of Congress have now been invited by the governor and Ron DeSantis' administration to come take a tour. They said, okay, now you want to sue us? Or maybe they say, now we were planning to have you. We just needed some time. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. The lawsuit, did the lawsuit force their hand? Or were they planning to have a visit? But they're not, again, legislators are not limited to when you invite me. I'm supposed to be able to go when I want. That's what they're arguing in the lawsuit. They are elected officials working on behalf of the people of the state of Florida, and they have a right to go unannounced and inspect any state-run or county-run or local municipal run, city-run detention center, prison, or facility. That's what they're saying. So let's talk about this so-called tour. Now, according to the Miami Herald, the Ron DeSantis administration is inviting Florida state legislators and members of Congress to attend a scheduled 90-minute tour of Alligator Alcatraz. When? Tomorrow on Saturday. That would be the 12th. They are, quote, inviting them and limiting the time frame. 90 minutes now. 90 minutes. That's what y'all got. Now, if you had time to plan when people were going to pop up in a prison, there could be an argument. We're just going to play devil's advocate for a second. There could be an argument that you want to set up the prison nice, that you want to prearrange who is going to do the interviews, which parts of the prison you're going to be able to see and show them, and which part them can walk in. You think they're going to show them the entire prison tomorrow when they go for the tour, or you think they're going to show them a specialized part, pre-designated? Come on, y'all. That's the argument. If I have to make an appointment and I can't go, as they argue, by law, unannounced, it allows you time to fix up your place and give us a couple people to talk to. We can't just go and talk to inmates or people who are being detained, because isn't that technically, in a prison is a detention center run by the state. So now when they go, it's going to be, some people call that a song and a dance, a tap dance. See, talk to this guy right here. Talk to that guy right here. That guy is going to talk to you right there. Just go around that side. Don't go over there. Come over here. Stay in the line. Stay in the line. Color within the lines. I don't know about this. That's what some people are saying about how this looks. So according to the Herald, the Miami Herald, the invitation was sent on Wednesday, and it is the first extended to elected leaders since the facility began taking in immigrant detainees on July 2nd. Like I said, this is one of the fastest pop-ups. Don't let anybody tell you they can't build nothing if they want to build it. We can't house people. People can't afford housing in Florida. People can't afford, but they can find a way to build a detention center in less than how many days? Man, please listen. Immigrant detainees started last week, July 2nd. And it comes after the state denied access to the site, once again, to the 5, they happen to be Democratic, Florida lawmakers. During an unannounced visit they performed on July 3rd. So they came out there on July 3rd. Detainees were sent there, boom, bam, beam, July 2nd. 5 state legislators, including Miami's own state senator, Chevron Jones was among them, Carlos Guillermo Smith, Michelle Rayner, Ana Escamani, and I believe Angie, I forget her last name, from Jacksonville, is the 5 I remember. But as I look now, those 5 lawmakers, during an unannounced visit last week on July 3rd, and after the Miami Herald and other media outlets reported on detainee complaints about the conditions in this makeshift detention center in the Florida Everglades. Y'all know how hot. I just told you about the heat index right now. This weekend it's going to be hot. Heat index is what it feels like. It's not even the real temperature. It's what it feels like. Well over 100 degrees. Heat index this week here in South Florida has been 104, 105. One day it was even like 108. I was like, we feel hot. So you imagine how in the middle of the Everglades where there's no breeze, at least in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, you got the little sea breeze. You got a little air coming off the water, praise God. But in the middle of the Everglades, listen, If you ever been up to Tallahassee, if you've been to school in Gainesville, where University of Florida is, listen, there is a dead heat in summertime. I'm talking about dead heat. You sweat so till. I cannot imagine these people in this makeshift tent city looking detention center with that humidity. I'm talking about, I just told you about the Saharan dust in the atmosphere. Right now, the South Florida is throughout the weekend going to be blanketed by basically sand from the Sahara Desert. Saharan dust is coming our way, blowing on the winds. Right? From all over the north. They call North Africa. It's Africa. Let me get off my soapbox. But it's Africa. The Sahara Desert. The winds is blowing our way. That's how we got here. Hey, somebody. I'm gonna leave it there. Let me focus. That's where the ships came. Hallelujah. Anyway. So they were denied unannounced visit on July 3rd after the detainees got there July 2nd. And then tomorrow, July 12th, this is supposed to be the setup of the prearranged, the invitation only. They had to actually RSVP. I think the RSVP just closed. I think they had to RSVP by a certain time today to be able to go tomorrow. And the 5 that have filed the lawsuit against the state of Florida and the DeSantis administration, saying that they were illegally prevented from inspecting this facility. They'll be out there tomorrow. It's going to be Saturday afternoon. We're going to keep you on abreast of what's happening. We're going to keep you on top of it because it's real human beings out there. Real people with real lives and real families, real children, real mothers, real fathers, all of that. They being kept in the middle of the Everglades in the sweltering conditions. We'll see what the reports say. Anyway, Stephanie Hartman, let's get the other side of the story. Stephanie Hartman, a spokeswoman for the Florida Division of Emergency Management, which is overseeing the site, described the tour as a, quote, a proactive initiative about problems at the facility, including toilets. Oh, wait. Proactive initiative. Full stop. Okay. Proactive initiative by the state to allow lawmakers access to facility. She said, this is now her, the spokeswoman for the Florida Division of Emergency Management. This is according to the Miami Herald. Now she said detainee stories about problems at the facility now including toilets that don't flush, large bugs. Like I told you, the reggaeton artist that's being kept out there, he said, mosquitos como elefantes, parece elefante. He said the mosquitoes are the size of elephants. Imagine being out there with no bug spray, no bug deterrent or none of that. This is swamp, y'all. This is swamp. They keeping these people in the swamp. That's how all of Florida was. I know you used to South Florida with the pretty buildings. Baby, we was swamp. This is a dredged up land. We're on dumped up swampland. I can't even go into the history here. Yeah, we look pretty, but we barely above sea level because we are literally swamp. And there are parts of our state that remain in its natural form. And that's what we was hoping for the Everglades, but here go the detention center right in the middle, right at the top of it. So she said stories about problems at the facility, including toilets that don't flush, large bugs, and temperatures that fluctuate from icy to sweltering. That's super hot. Icy to sweltering, she claims, are inaccurate. This is Stephanie Hartman, a spokesperson for the Florida Division of Emergency Management, according to the Miami Herald. She said, detainee stories about problems at the facility, including toilets that don't flush, large bugs, and temperatures that fluctuate from icy cold to sweltering, are inaccurate. That's according to the State Emergency Management Office. You believe it? According to the Herald, the hastily constructed facility, expected to eventually hold thousands ensnared in President Donald Trump's efforts to deport millions of undocumented immigrants from the country, has been subject to intense scrutiny since state contractors built it in 8 days. That's how long it took to put up Alligator Alcatraz. Where there's a will, there's a way. Now, is it good? 8 days on top of a remote runway. It was barely an airstrip, a remote piece of slab of pavement runway, they saying, owned by the Miami-Dade County off of U.S. Highway 41. Using emergency powers, The DeSantis administration took control of the property and set up trailers and heavy-duty tents where hundreds of immigrant detainees are now being held. Trump and Governor DeSantis visited the site last week and touted it as a game changer for the Trump administration, which has struggled to find space to house the migrants targeted for deportation. After the state sent in its invitation, 5 Democratic members of the Florida congressional delegation said they would attend, but added they were already planning an unannounced visit on Saturday. So they're going to go. U.S. Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, United States Rep. Lois Frankel, as well as United States Reps Darren Soto, he's out of Orlando, Jared Moskowitz, he represents parts of Broward County and Palm Beach, and Maxwell Frost, also out of Orlando, said in a joint statement that they expect the federal and state governments to try to paper over its inhumane treatment of detained people with limited, a scrubbed visit and rehearsed answers. We gonna see now. I got to go. I'm out of time, y'all. I appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. Stay on top of this. Have a wonderful, glorified tent circus. We gotta go. It's been a pleasure. Y'all know the Suzette Speaks show comes on every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I come and I appreciate you staying locked in. But we're gonna stay on top of this stories, right? It's only fair. We appreciate you listening. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. Follow me, Suzette Speaks, and follow us, Voice of the Caribbean. Until next week, take care of yourselves. See you soon.
While dancing and singing along to your favorite songs performed.
Take a deep breath. I did not go over to Facebook. It's all good. Thank you. Thank you, Gavin. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. So what I'll do is what I taped here, I'll put that up on Facebook. Anyway, have a great rest of your weekend or rest of your Friday and have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
This is Mikey.